we're calling it the multiple personality disorder. Why? Because watching an ad today is like going through a catalogue. That's why multiple personality disorder, or even better, would be a midlife identity crisis. Marketers of today have decided to ignore the unique selling proposition and are starting their newfound communication strategy of layering. So much so that the consumer is dumbfounded on the number of brands that promise to be the all-in-one solution. Is this how communication will evolve in the medium and long term? Nikita Rana analyzes this behavior, and brand equity crystal gazes to tell you what the future foretells.
Five problems, one solution. Give my skin the 6-Pro care.
The Indian skincare auto-enhancement market have come a long way. Almost every product today is multi-layered and complex in its proposition. The Fairness Cream is no longer just that. It also claims to be your acne solution, moisturizer, and everything else you need it to be. It's probably done to please the Indian shopper who can't contain her joy with every single brand catering to her every need.
Fairness, pimples, and no marks. Yay!
But wait a second, that's only her initial reaction.
But how do I choose?
The consumer isn't spoiled for choice. She's fed up of it.
Somebody help me.
You're right. It's ironical that in a bid to be differentiators, the same things are pretty much coming out from all the brands. It is therefore all the more reason why technology or features should not be looked at as differentiators anymore. It's really about how you position your brand and what is the personality that you create for the user. And that is what the user finally buys into.
What car manufacturers do at the moment is that they try to give as much buying arguments as possible to the consumer, which means the more we can feed in, the better it is. Sincerely spoken, I sometimes think that the consumer can grab one, maybe two messages, and that's it. It's a very simple analogy. If I throw one ball to you, you're going to catch it. If I throw 6 balls to you at the same time, you're going to catch none.
Those looking to buy a car always know what their number one priority is.
Yeah, I was looking specifically Bombay because I travel a lot in Bombay.
Whether it's price, mileage, looks, or cost of maintenance.
So basically looking for mileage.
Mileage, fuel efficiency.
But unfortunately, majority of the manufacturers don't want to restrict themselves to a specific segment. They're constantly shifting gears to suit all and sundry. Outcome? A well-informed consumer whizzing past your labyrinth of propositions.
It was necessary at the beginning to highlight only one thing, is because we obviously wanted people to remember, what Nissan Micra is about and come to the showroom and book the car. But once we launched the car, we wanted to, obviously also attract a host of other audience as well. So it's not just, people who are interested in technology, but, there are a lot of people who also want fuel economy from their car. So they say, okay, I like technology, but if you're not giving me fuel economy, I'm afraid, I don't want your car.
I completely agree that the Indian advertising in automobile is becoming the catalog-based advertising. People talk about features, but advertisers must realize people are not going to buy a product just because, you have a sunroof or there is, a electrically controlled ORVM. People are going to buy the product based on many other criteria. And you can't address all the criteria. There are some certain assumptions which people have to make about the product that a company is offering.
Brands blame an overcrowded marketplace for this phase of confused communication. But there's got to be a method to the madness. Experts suggest that companies can continue to layer features through newer brand launches, something that the Indian market needs much more than plain and simple brand extensions, which are more apt for the advanced Western markets.
Marketers, tend to be more confused than consumers. In fact, a lot of people in marketing, they talk about, that this can confuse consumers, that can confuse consumers. Not at all. Consumer is the smartest person actually. It is the marketers who are confused, who wants to try and give all kinds of messages.
India is an expensive market as far as marketing spends are concerned, and also that's the result. As a result of this, I think people tend to stretch their existing brands rather than create another brand, because that way they can manage their marketing spends more effectively.
Now, because you sort of expanded your appeal, in the short run you are able to speak to a new set of consumers, but over a period of time your brand starts becoming fuzzier and fuzzier, and therefore what you stood for, the idea that you stood for in the consumer's head starts becoming blurred. So the reason why this strategy is seductive and dangerous both is because in the short term it pays dividends.
Most feel that single brand propositions will be back in vogue, and those who refuse to stick with one USP will find it tough to survive.
If you look at the Western market, look at US or Europe, you find that over a certain period of time, as those markets evolved, there was a cluttering happening of propositions. After that, it became so cluttered that even the manufacturers did not know what their brand stood for. And now increasingly you find, if you look at the Super Bowl advertising, for example, which happens in US every year, you find very simple propositions happening. So I think we are a developing country, categories are evolving, customers are evolving. We will go down that path. It will be exciting for us for next few years. We'll then discover that we are looking like each other, and we'll come back to simpler propositions.
Once you attain large volumes, as the Indian industry is attaining, each segment will be large enough for people to specifically put their product for that segment. And I think therefore people will go back to a single USP. They will identify what the single USP would be for each segment, and that is where they will place their brands.
The point has been made. Choose a single message or expensive communication may seriously go wrong. Layering products may still work in the current environment, but going ahead, brand equity predicts that it's only brands that truly understand their unique selling proposition that will flourish in a hyper-segmented market.
Back to